Hey guys, this is Issues with Toddy One Skip, and this is Toddy One Skip. Welcome back to my channel, and thank you so much for allowing me to be part of your day today. I really do appreciate it. Guys, I figured I'd give myself a break from Scientology for a minute and talk about some other stuff that's in the news that I find very interesting that I actually started video on a while ago and then got caught up with some Scientology stuff and wasn't able to really complete some of this stuff. So I am going to run some older video along with the newer video, and right away I'm talking about the Kansas City Chiefs that are now in the Super Bowl this Sunday, and how on just January 9th, after a game on January 7th against the Chargers, and the Chiefs won by 1 point. It was 13-12. It must have been an amazing game. I didn't watch it, but we know that 3 men died on January 7th and were later found on January 9th in Kansas City in the backyard of their friend's house. It's been all over the news as well as the internet, and I have talked about that a little bit, but I didn't show it, so I'm going to talk about that. The Chiefs fans that were found dead. So that happened on January 9th, that they were found after, I guess, being outside for 2 days at their friend's house, a friend that they've known since high school, somebody that has no reason to take the lives of his friends, somebody who they say now is very devastated over what happened and says that they don't know what happened. I think that they probably ingested something with fentanyl. I mean, fentanyl is in everything anymore. You can't even smoke pot without worrying about it. You should get pot from your dispensaries if there's dispensaries where you are. Yeah, so we're going right with people are right away running to the guy that's living, who's Jordan Willis. Jordan Willis is the guy that's renting the home that they were having this watch party at. I guess there were 5 people. 1 guy left after the game. The other 4 hung out together. And here's the problem that they see with Jordan Willis. And I'm pretty sure that if he didn't do this, they'd find another problem, because that's where people go. People, as I've said before, they go to hurt or pain or loss, they go to anger. So they've gone right away to anger, to why Jordan Willis is alive and 3 people are not alive. So again, we're going to have to wait on the toxicology report. But of course, Jordan Willis, what does he do for a living? He's a scientist, and he's a senior principal scientist at the International AIDS Vaccine Initiative in Kansas City, Missouri. So he's got a PhD in chemical and physical biology, and right away they're going with maybe he concocted something and let his friends ingest it. Why? Has he done that in the past? Could it be possible that they got their hands on a joint with fentanyl in it, that they all smoked, and that 3 of them passed away? 1 of them had a lot less of the joint. 3 died in the yard. 1 guy passed out, he said. Here's the thing. Another thing is that, apparently Jordan Willis didn't answer calls, which were messenger calls. They were through Facebook Messenger. They were from the wives and the friends of the 3 guys that were missing at the time, because they didn't know that they had died. So what happened was, one of the fiancés of one of the men that was missing, after 2 days of not hearing from her fiancé, which was something that she wasn't used to, she went over to the house where the watch party was, ended up breaking in and seeing her fiancé apparently in the backyard, dead. Then the police came, and this guy Jordan Willis comes down in his boxers with an empty wine glass in his hand, and maybe the guy's got a drinking problem. He's saying that he didn't notice his friends. He has no reason to kill his friends. He didn't notice his friends were outside. He didn't look outside. But I think that we need to find the toxicology report. We got to find out what's going on in the toxicology report to find out what they exactly died from. And if I was Jordan Willis, I would have taken a toxicology report myself. I would have pissed in a cup, let them take blood from me, because maybe all of them ingested the same thing. Jordan didn't ingest so much. He didn't feel so good. He went and laid down on his couch. Everybody else kind of passed out outside. Temperatures dropped, and they died. Or maybe they just ingested more of whatever something was in, if they took something. I guess we're just going to have to see about the toxicology reports there. But a guy that hasn't had any problems with the law, a respectable guy, his friends come over, that he's known since high school. They die in his backyard. And he's to blame because he's alive and he's a scientist. So guys, now the toxicology report has come out, and it showed cocaine and fentanyl. Actually 3 times the dose of lethal, what would kill somebody, fentanyl. And just so you know, so little pieces of salt, okay? The grains of salt is enough to kill somebody from fentanyl. Was it the homeowner who's now in rehab and feeling horrible? Jordan? Was it Jordan Willis that concocted this? Or perhaps maybe they all pitched in and wanted to get a little high before the game, after the game. The families of David Harrington, Ricky Johnson, and Clayton McGinney, who said there's no way that their children did drugs, not even recreational drugs. And that's not true. It appears like they did. And listen, you can't think any worse of these people because they wanted to get high for the day. To me, it looks like the cocaine that they bought had fentanyl in it. But they probably bought the cocaine from somebody they knew. And even if Jordan got the cocaine, it doesn't make him guilty of what was inside the cocaine. I don't understand how drug dealers, they just are killing off their clients. It's so stupid. Or what's sick to me is to look at it and say, yeah, we might lose that many people, but look at how much money we get. What do we care? Those are the people that need to be taken down, not the people purchasing it, figuring, I have a problem with people that think that drug addicts deserve what they get. And now I can hear you guys, well, you don't have any problem with Danny Masterson deserving what he get. Danny Masterson inflicted pain on other people and then lied about it and continued to do so. Never felt remorseful, anything. Drug addicts hurt themselves. Yes, they do hurt people around them, but they actually do feel bad about it. So now the families of these 3 dead fans and friends say there's something more to it. Even if they did the drugs, they didn't do the drugs to die. Of course not. Of course not. Of course not. And they didn't deserve to die because they did the drugs. Please understand that. But you can't blame the guy that wound up sleeping it off in the house, because I don't think he did anything intentionally. I think he's feeling really, really bad. And I don't think him going to rehab makes him look guilty. I don't think him hiring a lawyer makes him look guilty. I think this guy's been through shock and just can't believe it. And I don't think he knew. I don't think that he knew that what was going on in the backyard. I really don't think he looked outside the windows or anything. So that's what's going on there. So good luck to the Chiefs. I hope that I hope they win, and I hope it's in the name of David, Ricky, and Clayton in their memory. You know, and some people actually might have take offense to that and say, "Why would you say that? They were drug addicts." I don't think they were drug addicts just because they did drugs on occasion. So, let me ask you this: what do you think would be if what do you family's still looking to blame again because it's easier to go from devastation to anger as opposed to devastation to loss to pain, which they're going to get there anyway. What would the world be saying if Jordan died right along with the other three men? The fifth guy, would it have been all on the fifth guy? The guy that was there that left before any of this happened? Or would it have been all sad for all four of the men that unfortunately just got a bad batch of drugs, which is exactly what I think happened here. But because one of them survived, it's really unfair that, you know, he's going to get everything thrown at him because of that. Even if he purchased it, as long as he didn't make it. As long as he didn't make it in his little chemical lab, then, you know, he's just as guilty as the other three. So, you want to do it as the crime of buying drugs, okay. But anyway, if anybody is looking to see people do crime, so for 2 years, Jennifer and James Crumbley, Ethan Crumbley, the Oxford Hills shooter, high school shooter, who, what was it, in 2021? He's 15 years old. He was 15 years old at the time. Killed 4 students. Went into a school with a gun, a weapon that that he pitched in and bought with his family, and yeah, that happened in November 2021. Was the shooting. And Jennifer Crumbley, Ethan Crumbley's mom, for the first time ever, it's a groundbreaking case, has been convicted of 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter, and she's guilty of grossly negligent, violated a legal duty of protecting a gun from her son, that and negligent just in the care of his behavior causing this. So it was proven apparently that Ethan asked his parents for help. This is just one thing that stands out that is just heartbreakingly sad. He asked his parents for help. His dad told him to suck it up, and his mom laughed at him. You can't do anything with those memories that you put to a child. It doesn't give... It's not a pass to go into a school and shoot people up. No, 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 no. But it does make the parents responsible. So they've been sitting in jail for 2 years because they can't come up with the $500,000 bond it would take to get them out of jail. What's come up during the course of this time is that the mother is a cheater, which is fine. And that she spent actually more time with the horses than she did with her son. And when her son asked for help, she just wasn't available for him. And now what's happening is, because of that, laws have changed, and now she is facing up to 60 years in jail. She's been convicted of 4 counts, like I said, the 4 deaths of involuntary manslaughter for gross negligence, and she'll have sentencing, I believe, I want to say March or April. Not 100% sure of that. And in a couple weeks, James Crumbley, Ethan's dad, is going to come up for his trial. He too's been sitting in jail awaiting. And they're going to be the same 4 counts that are going to be up against him. So we're going to see what's going to happen there. How sad to ignore your kid or laugh at them or make them feel small because they asked for help. The kid had one friend, and his friend ended up going to rehab. And, here's the thing. The school called the parents and showed them a notebook. I did a video of this. A notebook of demons in my head, it said. Voices in my head, I can't make them stop. Something like that. And then showed a gun in the back of somebody's head. A drawing. This is what Ethan drew. And it was after that meeting at school that day with the parents when the school said, we'd like for you to take him home. He said, no, he's going to be all right. He can deal with it. And it was but a couple hours later that happened, that the shooting occurred. So you can see the direct negligence and disregard of help, and never even mentioned to anybody, oh, by the way, there are guns, or to take the guns out of the house and put them somewhere knowing that your kid was feeling this way. I mean, hindsight's 20/20, but this was just ignorance. It wasn't even ignorance. You ignored something so blatantly flashing. There was a giant red flag flashing. I have no problem with the parents doing time for this. And I think it's going to set a precedence for maybe the way people are responsible for their kids. I certainly hope so, because a lot of parents do need that. And then we're going to talk about Lia Thomas. So Lia Thomas is the transgender female swimmer who wants to now swim and get permission to swim in the Olympics. One of my very best friends, who is no longer with us, she passed away, we're pretty sure, from COVID, but before we knew about COVID. And she was transgender. And I loved her. She was such a great person. I loved her. I still miss her. I will still cry over her. And I remember one time she was taking me to the airport because I was going to the UK, so I had bags and they were heavy. And I went to the back of the car to unload the bags, and she came out. And I said, no, Patty, I got it. And she said to me, I have man muscle still. Now, she lived her life as a woman. Her physique was much bigger than mine because she was over 6 feet tall, and she didn't feel any less of a woman because of how her body was changing or what her body was like. She made the transition well into life. They're saying if you make the transition before puberty, which is a whole other controversial statement, and I get that you're not going to get the muscle, you're not going to get, and I don't know if it's true or not, but what they're saying is if you want to compete and have it fair in transgender sports, you got to get the person before they make the change, before puberty hits, okay? I don't know enough about science. I do know that a year before Lia Thomas was on the swim team as a female, he was on the swim team as a male, coming in 485th, now coming in first as a female. This is unfair. There isn't a problem with transgender women or transgender men, in my opinion, at all in competition. However, you can't give, in my opinion, a transgender woman a medal over a biological woman, especially when it's only been 1 year since that transition. Because there is a biological advantage from the transgender woman. It has nothing to do with equal rights. It has nothing to do with that. Then everybody should jump in the pool, and we should have men and women and children, and we should even throw race in there, why not? And gender and everything else, and everybody will win out of each category. In the meantime, I don't know the answer, then have transgender sports, have that as a category. But it's unfair. It's unfair when biologically there is such an advantage. That's my opinion. It has nothing to do with the rights of transgenders, except when it comes to sports. Now, why do I say that? Because there's a lot of women that have trained and have worked out, and there's a reason why there is a division between men and women's sports. Otherwise, get rid of the division and everybody will do it all at the same time, and they'll just be, this is the number one man, and this is the number one woman, and this is the number one transgender, and this is the number one child, and this is the number one Chinese, and this is the number one African American, and this is the number one Hungarian, and we can keep going on and on and on. There's male and female sports. If you want to go ahead and throw in transgender, that's fine. But they shouldn't be taking medals away, in my opinion. Their body doesn't change biologically. Not in a year. Guys, those are the few things that I wanted to just talk about. What do you think about stuff like this? I am going to be doing a live at 7:30 on Sunday, this coming Sunday, which is February 11th. 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm trying to also throw some stuff in there because I'm hoping we could talk about a few things, perhaps, and that I don't mess it all up because I've never gone live before, so we're going to give it a shot. Also, some of you guys have come at me with the Danny Masterson. I think you see now that that's breaking news that there has been some sort of bounty put on Danny, and I still feel the same way that I feel and had felt about that. So it's complex because I don't wish something like that to happen to this kid Ethan Crumbley or his mom, but she didn't directly do a violent act thing. She behaved poorly, and because of that, that's what happened. And that kid was so broken. I mean, he was broken altogether. And guys, you don't have to agree with me. I'm just not going to lie to you is all. You don't have to agree with me, but I'm not going to lie to you. You're not going to agree with me on everything. Of course not. That's okay. Anyway, guys, this is Issues with Toddy One Skip. I'll get back to some Scientology stuff real soon, and I'll speak to you real soon. Don't forget, be better today than you were yesterday, but not half as good as you're going to be tomorrow. Thanks, guys. Take care.